to explain my new pedalboard and just briefly go through everything and what they do and what I personally use them for, and the practicality as compared to maybe some of you have seen my previous larger pedalboard. It looks cool, but in terms of practicality, it's just inconvenient. First of all, it's very heavy. Even this is quite heavy, considering how small it is. That my other pedalboard is maybe about 3 times the size, and there's more pedals. It's just physically larger, and it's just heavy overall. So my smaller pedalboard is just more practical, especially for like shorter jam sessions and like just bringing out to friends, and just even for like my daily playing. It's just easier to just take it out, plug it in, and then it doesn't cover too much space, and afterwards just bang up and put it in a bag and call it a day. My previous board, it took up so much area that I have to like manage my space. My room is quite small, so even like most like studios or like jamming rooms, the area for you personally, but your personal bubble for like playing is quite small, and if you have a large pedalboard, you kind of limits yourself from moving around. So having a smaller pedalboard is just more practical. It's easy to carry around. It's just lighter. It's just more practical. I will be using my ESP SV standard dual EMGs, flaros, mahogany body, ebony board, maple fretboard, and maple neck. The way I will be using the 4 cable method, which is, in simple terms, all the effects that will affect the sound or tone or texture will be in front of the amp, and those that will affect the time, like delays and reverb, will be behind the amp. All you need is an amp with an effects loop. Yeah, it is necessary to have an effects loop to use the 4 cable method, and well, 4 cables. So first and foremost is my guitar goes through. This is my cable for my guitar. The first thing here is the tuner. So basic functions, just tunes my guitar. Then goes to my noise gate. The noise gate has its own loop, so this will help with the 4 cable method, and also reduces the reason I use the 4 cable method is because I'm using a high gain amp and also using an overdrive. So 4 cable method will also the noise gate will also reduce the noise from the amp itself rather than just from the guitar or the pedals. So from here it will send, as you can see, it has like input, output, send and return. From the send, it will send to all the pedals that are in front of the board, which I have here is, firstly is the Digitech Whammy, then goes through my mini wah, goes through chorus, then to the max sound overdrive, then this will go back into the amp input, and then from the amp input it will go to the amp send and return. So it will send back the signal into the return of the noise gate here. Then the return of the noise gate will it'll complete the loop. So send and everything here, then goes to the amp, then send from the amp goes back to the return here. So the loop for the noise gate is complete. And then from the output, this will go into the delay and reverb, and then from the delay then to the reverb goes back to the return of the amp. So that will complete the amp loop. It's quite complicated when I explain it, but maybe I will provide a drawing so that it's easier to understand. But you'll only need this if you have a high gain amp, or like a very noisy amp, or like very high gain system overall. If you don't, then it's just easier to just use the noise gate at the front or after any distortion. I should also explain that I'm using a Strymon Zuma to power all of this. It's a isolated power supply. You will need an isolated power supply if you have a mixture of analog pedals like the Maxon, the wah, the chorus. I think the chorus is analog. And also a mixture of digital pedals like the whammy and the digital reverb. Because if you mix digital and analog pedals, and if you use those daisy chain stuff, it will produce a humming noise or just unwanted noise. And even if you put a noise gate on it, it will not clear it out. So an isolated power supply is quite needed. It is quite expensive though, but considered as a core essential for pedalboard. So first and foremost on my pedalboard is the tuner. As its name, it just tunes your guitar. I currently have it in drop D. The next I have is the noise gate. The noise gate will eliminate like basic noises like hum and screeching and digital noise. The Strymon Zuma helps, but in overall noise it will cover very nicely. So as mentioned, I have a very noisy amp, and this will stay always on. If you can see, I have my threshold quite high and my decay is at 0 basically, because I'm using EMGs. So even on the clean channel, as you can maybe hear, is quite pokey. So since EMGs has a high output, so I can put my threshold quite high, and maybe you can listen to how much noise the amp produces if I use all my distortions. Turn this off and I'll turn on my distortion. And I'll turn on my overdrive as well. And that's without me playing. If I turn no noise, and very clean. But I don't need, since I have EMGs, I don't need to turn this on. If I only use this with the guitar, or if I have a weak like example single coils. But EMGs and a high gain amp, it's sufficient enough. Next is my Digitech Whammy DT, which stands for drop tube. The reason I have this like earlier in the board is it needs a clean signal from the guitar so that it can process the sound and pitch shift easily and more accurately. So if you don't know what a pitch shift is, since I have a Floyd Rose, it's quite inconvenient to change my tuning, so I have this. So example, right now I have it in drop D. If I see here, there's 1 until 7, then it says octave, so it goes up and down, so I can change tunings. So half step down, full step down, and a half. You can go lower and lower, or higher. So if you listen to a lot of bands and a lot of music with different tunings, this will help. That is a smaller version with just this, the drop tune, which what I mostly use it for. There's also, this is the larger version, which it has the whammy, well, it's a whammy DT, whammy top tune, so the whammy function is a whammy. No, this is a whammy. Or you can use it in an octave. Octave up. As you can see, what I use it for is just changing tunings and the octave and whammy. What I always use it for is like the polyphia sound. If you have like an octave down, then I add a bit of overdrive. Sounds like that's fun. You can also do like add a reverb to it. But the reverb already has an octave on it, so it's just a bit of extra fun. Next is my wah. I have to move my phone because I need to record my foot now. So the foot fetish. You're welcome. So the wah, or commonly known as the crybaby, as the name suggests, it's a wah. It does wah. you do funky stuff. Oh, my pickups are too strong. I have to lower it. Or if you do Metallica. Slash, what else? So like I don't really it's not that I don't like it, it's just different from what I'm used to have. I have the Kirk Hammett one, which has less movement but more range. This like has more movement and less range, which is, I don't know, if you're playing this standing up, you're not really gonna move that much, but it's gonna hurt your ankle if you keep doing this. So I don't, maybe I'm just not used to it yet. It's quite new, and yeah, mostly just wah-wah, even like the Tomarello. Not used to range. Not used to the movement. So yeah, I'll get better at that. Oh, the way you turn it on is you have to press it like forward until you hear it click. It's not that easy to click because you're not supposed to make it easy to click, and then you have to push forward again, turn it off. Next is the chorus. It's just a micro chorus, just one knob. Nice and simple, nice sound. One knob, sounds good. I don't need anything else. I used to have the Zach Wild chorus. That you can use it with distortion and sounds great. You can use this for distortions as well, but it's not, doesn't sound as because the Zach Wild one, it was meant for like distorted sounds, because it has like a top and bottom cut, which makes it more useful if it's distortion. This sounds alright. For those 80s music, or even like if you listen to some of the old Children of Bodom live, Alexi does use the chorus. I think he used the boss chorus, but yeah, so it sounds quite okay, but not really best for distortion. Very good on So a lot of emo songs. Very nice. I like it. I like it a lot. Next is the Maxon Overdrive. This is the OD808, or maybe some of you use the Ibanez DS808. I use it just as a very mild distortion. Use it a bit on noodling. Yeah, a bit of distortion because my oh yeah, I haven't told you about my amp. Did I? I don't know. My amp is a Mesa Boogie Mark V. The clean channel is just, it's not martially clean, it's just clean, like very clean. So it doesn't have that tubey grit to it. So I have to use this for that Marshall sound. Nice and sweet. Sounds a lot better with lower output pickups. Not so good with EMGs, but it's alright. If you have like single coils or like low output PAFs and like P90s, those sound great with overdrive. Also, if you don't have like if your amp's not good enough, like the distortion is not strong enough, this will help a lot in getting like the tone you want, especially for those who are using like if you don't have the right type of amp, like if you have like a medium gain amp but you want to play a like, higher gain amp, use this, like a tube screamer, not exactly this, but any type of tube screamer, and use it with distortion. It will add a lot more grit to it, and it pushes the amp a lot harder. So this will help. If you see a lot of metal bands, they don't usually use like super high gain amps. Some of them use Marshalls and like like older brands like the mid high gain amps. They don't really use like super high gain, but they use an overdrive in front of it to push the amp further and without like killing your ears, because tube amps are loud. And with the overdrive in front of the amp, you don't need to have as much gain, so it wouldn't and not as much volume, so it will be it sound a lot better at lower volumes. All the previous effects are in front of the amp. Now starting from this delay and reverb, this is behind the amp. So the reason it's behind the amp is if it goes in front of the amp, in front of the distortion, it will sound weird. Like, I'm sure some of you have tried like having a delay or reverb in front of a heavily distorted or even just slightly distorted amp. It will distort the delay and reverb, so it's not what you exactly want, but it's not counterproductive. Yeah, maybe, I don't know what's the word. It's not what you want in terms of sound. You want a clean delay, so put it after the distortions so you can use it with your solos as well. So my delay is an MXR Carbon Copy Deluxe. It's the only main difference between this deluxe version and the normal version is, as you can see, it has a modulation EQ here. You can switch it on and off easily, and a tap tempo. You do have the modulations on the normal one, but I think its controls are inside the pedal, so it's harder to like EQ. This has its own EQ side. And also, since tap tempo, you have tap divisions, dotted notes, eighth note, triplets, yada yada. And there's a bright switch if you want to make the delay brighter. So without delay, with delay, oops, no, this one. I'll have the modulations on. I turn off first. No modulation, with modulation. It's very subtle. You can make it like very funky, but I use it quite subtly. Use it. It's either for like to add like feel, or like, you know how some songs need like delays, like example. Oops, long timing. and just on for part 2. Most of you who even listens to Bullet for Valentine don't even know there's a part 2 for Tears Don't Fall. Anyways, yeah. Or I can use it as a solo boost because I'm not sure if it's like its intended function, but if you actually engage the delay, I actually get a bit of boost in volume. I'm not sure if you can hear it through the video, but there's a bit of volume increase, so it helps with solos. And mostly use it for like slower solos, like more classic rock kind of feel. It's a lot of feel to it. And yeah, mostly I use it for just an effect or solo only. I usually use it with modulation just to make it a bit more colorful. And yeah, I like this a lot. The reason I have an analog, I don't know if it's analog, but it's supposed to have an analog sound rather than digital. I'm not sure if you can hear it, but oops. Turn off the modulations first. I'll make it louder so you can hear it. It kind of has that dirty sound to it, like it's not fully clean, it's a bit distorted at the edge. I don't have a digital delay for comparison, but if you have like a Boss delay, the sound is like completely 1-to-1, and this sounds like quite muffled and how do I explain that? Distorted now. There's a bright switch though. Kinda make it like more digital, but I don't really use it because I want my delays to be, well, low in volume. And then next is my reverb. This is a Walrus Audio Fathom. It's a digital reverb with like fancy effects on it. I usually use that, like the special kind of sound, or use the whole effects. Just make it very long. Mostly for not sure if it's right tuning. Oh, for the record, I don't like the version with Bring Me the Horizon. I prefer the regular Ed Sheeran version. Yeah, it's quite fun if you just wanna like drown in reverb. Oh yeah, as mentioned before, I can use it with an octave to give it more I can easily drown in that for hours and hours. Yeah, that's basically my pedalboard. While I'm at it, so I might as well explain my amps. What I have here, what I'm currently using is this one. It's a Mesa Boogie Mark 5 25 watts, and top here is my Ingle iron ball, which it's not currently plugged in. I'm using the Mesa. The Mesa has always been my dream amp. It's my main rig, I suppose. I don't bring this anywhere usually because it's stupid expensive, even though it's like a smaller one. And Ingle is I usually use it for like the Marshally sound. It has like a hairy clean, and then but the distortion is quite modern, so yeah, it's quite a modern amp. This has a more vintage sounding distortion, and the cleans is like a Fendery clean one. The Ingle is like, the cleans is more Marshally, but the distortion is very modern. Maybe I'll make another video on my amps, but both are 25 watts, I think. You can turn this down to 10 watts and this one until 5 watts, I think. 1 watt. Yeah, you can lower this one until 1 watts. It's quite loud though. So even though it's 25, even now I'm currently there's no numbers here, but usually below 2 or even sometimes below 1, enough to fill my room and like everyone else can hear it. But if in terms of jamming in a band, I'm not sure if it's loud enough. Oh, and the cab is just a Marshall code. I think it's like $100. It's just a cheap cab. I have another cab outside, also a Marshall cab. I use this because it's a 212. The other one is 112. What else? Oh yeah, the reason I have this timer here is wait. So yeah, the reason I have a timer here, this is a 3-minute timer. If you have a tube amp, you should not turn it on right away. Like you have to panaskan dulu, just like car. So there's as you can see, oh maybe you cannot see where. As you can maybe see now, there's a both of them has a power switch and also a standby switch. Standby. So if I want to turn it off, I have to turn it to standby mode first, then leave it a few minutes, then turn it off. Same goes to turning it on, since the angle is not plugged in. The way you turn it on is turn on the socket, power socket, turn it on, flip the thingy, wait for a few minutes. Since my timer is 3 minutes, I wait for 3 minutes. Then after the timer is off, you can turn it on. Even if you do turn it on like right away, like you're not gonna hear any sound from it, and you risk the chance to ruin your amp. Tube amps are expensive, so better safe than sorry. I think that will be all from my rig video. If you have any questions, just ask in the comments, like what they do, or like you need a deeper explanation. But or like where can you get them? Just comment and maybe share the video. Alright.